can only give you ideas, and we pour into each other. You have to execute it. You have a business to run, a family, and so much. But take it one day at a time.
Hey, babe, bring me a toy or two, please.
It seems like you're working with some great people already who can help
toy
you
or
through
two.
it. And know, Christine, that we're here for you. One day, hey, listen, upstate New York's not too far away, so hopefully I'll have an excuse to get up there. But everybody listen, this is Ramon Ray. This is Breakfast with Champions. Please feel free to sign up to BWCDaily.com, BWCDaily.com. People like Dre Baldwin, Tina, and so many others are sharing their content on BWCDaily.com.
We're going to start this ride in a second. We're on Clubhouse.
Feel free to join me at
Clubhouse. I'm waiting for my segments coming up in a second. Shout out to all y'all on Instagram. Shout out to everybody on Facebook.
Coming up June 13th, 14th, and 15th to help you with your podcast, email marketing, and social media, all of which I've done to a great extent over the past 20-something years or so. Now, without further ado, join me in welcoming my friend and one of the most favorite hosts on Breakfast with Champions, the amazing Dre. Dre, I hope you're well. The mic, brother, is all yours.
I am doing great, Ramon. How are you? How was your weekend?
Week was good, Dre. It was good to be at the EYA event with Marcus Black and Ashley. That was kind of the highlight. And then yesterday I had some good Spanish food, watched some Korean drama. Yeah. The highlight was with my wife. Not the Korean drama, but with my wife. That was the highlight. And had a good day in church. So I'm good, man. Okay,
good stuff. So, Ramon, if you could stay on for 1 second, I want to ask.
Absolutely.
I want to share something with you and with the BWC audience. And while I share that, first of all, I'm going to pose to everybody. We got two topics here as usual, and I'm going to give, while me and Ramon chat for a second now, I'll give you all the two topics. I got one that I prefer, but I'll let you all vote. Two topics I got on board today is, one is what your business needs and does not need. This is for your entrepreneurs, and it goes right along what Ramon was just talking about, which I'm going to get to him in a second about. That's one, what your business needs and doesn't. Put a B for that, or leveling up. If you want to raise your level when it comes to you personally and the people around you, put an L for leveling up. So B for what your business needs and does not need, L for leveling up. Put that in the chat here on Clubhouse. B for the business topic, L for the leveling up topic, which will apply to your business as well. All right, so while you all are voting, Ramon, I heard you talking business. I didn't hear your whole segment, but I heard a good amount of it. And you were talking about what the things that people need to do for their entrepreneurship and their businesses. You want to know something interesting, Ramon, that I
do
noticed about my numbers from my business this year. So far this year, 2023, Work on Your Game Incorporated, our number of successful transactions, meaning the number of times the register has rung, is down 79%. 79% so far this year. However, our revenue is up 41%.
My man. Unpack that, Dre. I don't know if your whole segment's going to be on that, but while we're chatting, please unpack that. Give us a masterclass on that, because people may miss that. I know what it means, but unpack why that's a smile.
Yeah, that's a smile for, it's actually only 4 words. Here it is. Fewer customers, higher prices.
More money, baby. Is it a nice thing? I cracked a big old smile, man.
Yeah.
Come on now.
79% down transactions, but just higher average cart value is we're probably up 5 or 6 times. It's meaning every time somebody makes a transaction, they're spending 6 times more money so far this year than they did through this point last year.
And Dre, isn't that beautiful? And again, I'll let you go. I'll stay as long as you want, but I enjoy this. I think 2 things, Dre. Let me know if I'm right or wrong. I'm just making some assumptions, because business, as we work on our game, Dre's signature course and his community, right, is simple. It's all the same, Dre. So my guess is part of it could be higher pricing,
right,
and or part of it could be once customers trust you, Dre, they just come back. You work less hard. I got clients that have hired me for the past 5 years over and over again. Not in a bad way, but it's mutually easy work. Talk to me, Dre. Am I on the right track there?
Yeah, because we know in business that the easiest customer to sell is the repeat customer, right? The person who's already giving you money. They already know you. The know, like, trust factor is already there. You don't have to spend money marketing to them to get their attention. And if you did a good job with the first transaction, whatever it was, whether it was a book for $10, a program for $100,000, as long as you did a good job, they'll probably be willing to come back and do it again. Have you noticed that?
Absolutely. No, absolutely. Listen, in the speaking world, Dre, where I want a big part of my revenue,
right?
Once I slay the stage, Dre, and especially, Dre, when it's a right fit client, right? That's where it gets really good. That perfect client that you hear me talk about, Las Vegas, they have a stage, they have lights, camera, they have a video crew, 1,000 or more people. They're already dropping money, Dre, right? They're already dropping, what is it, a couple 100,000 to be in Las Vegas? Whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's like a rounding error and easy. Oh, let's get Ramon again. He ain't going to curse. He's going to be safe. Our executives safe with him. Over and over and over. Even the ones, Dre, that say we don't want to do it. I'm sure the same with you, Dre. Once the clients you work with, you serve, you're helping, the business is growing. Why not sign up with Dre over and over again? Have the credit card keep going.
Right,
you
exactly.
Them, they want you to keep doing it.
Exactly, and with big events, I don't think you may be underestimating Ramon. I think they may be spending millions of dollars on those events.
Okay, millions.
Yeah, depending on how they set the room up, depending on how customized they decide to make it. Yeah.
But thank you, Dre. Thank you for sharing that with me. And you let TM join in as well, even though he's like jogging 47 miles, frustrating me. I think I did like half a foot today. But Dre Baldwin, thanks so much, brother. Good to be here with you. Can't wait to hear what the vote is on what you're going to share today, man.
Yes, thank you, Ramon. So I'm looking in the chat here. It hasn't actually been that many votes. So let me say it one more time. We got 2 topics here. I'll give you all like 30 seconds to do this as I introduce myself. We got 2 topics. What your business needs and does not need. So I'm going to talk about where entrepreneurs may be wasting time and why. I also talk about what businesses you don't want to be in a metaphorical sense, and the main things your business needs. I will cover all of that. And that option is leveling up. You want to step your level up, and this is just more of a personal development thing. Put the letter L in the chat for that topic. So we got B for business, L for levels. And while I give everybody a chance to vote here, I introduce myself. My name is Dre Baldwin. Many know me as Dre all day, and that's my son you hear talking there. I'm going to hold him for as long as he can last. I'm a former 9-year pro athlete, author of 33 books, done 4 TEDx talks, created this whole brand called Work on Your Game, where we take all the tools to help athletes get to the top 1% in the sports world, and we translate those tools over from the sports world to the business world to help professionals like yourselves perform at your highest level, do so consistently, because as a professional, you must be consistent in your performance, and as a result of all this, make more money. So the L's were winning, then the B's kind of came in strong here. So here's what I'm going to do. We're going to talk about the B topic. We're going to go business. I'm going to talk about the business topic. This levels topic I will do. I think we'll just do that next week since a bunch of you did vote for it. So we're going to get to both of those topics. Or for the BWC powers that be, the minds that control the schedule, you can just get Dre Baldwin another hour segment sometime in the week. If you could find it somewhere in the schedule, then I could do a personal development topic on one day, and I can do a business topic on another day. But we'll handle all that in the back chat. So now let's get into the topic here today, where we are going to talk about businesses. What the business, daughter Maria, yeah, I see those eyeballs. I see. So we're going to talk about what businesses need and do not need. It can help us when we get the trash out of the way. Then I'm going to end it by talking about the things that you actually need in business, and it is not complicated. We're going to make all this really simple. So first of all, let's talk about where entrepreneurs waste time and why. And I'm going to end this by, let's say, 8:45 my talking, so that you all have time for engagement here. So let's see if I can get through this in 37 minutes. So one big difference between being an entrepreneur and being an employee is that you are in complete control of your time and your energy and how you use it when you are a business owner. You can do whatever you want. This is a great thing. This is one of the things that drives a lot of entrepreneurs to become entrepreneurs. That you can do what you want. I talk to a lot of entrepreneurs who say, I just don't like people telling me what to do. I don't want anybody else, having their foot on my neck, having control of my schedule, moving me around. I don't like this person. I don't want to have to deal with them. I don't like my boss. I don't like my coworkers. I don't like the people who work for me. I don't like any of it. So you can do what you want as an entrepreneur. The challenge with this is, the flip side of it, because everything has a flip side, is that entrepreneurs end up wasting a lot of time doing a whole bunch of nonsense. And today I'm going to point out what some of that nonsense is. Right, son? Yeah, we're going to point out some of the nonsense. And hopefully help you adjust to stop doing these things. Now, some of these are it depends nonsense, but I'm going to point out why it depends, when it depends, and where it depends. So let's get into it. Number one is protection. What do I mean when I say protection? I don't mean protection like you paying off the mafia, Tony Soprano, from breaking your windows. I could mean that. But when I say protection, what I mean is in the form of, this is when an entrepreneur says, well, Dre, you know what? I got to go get some documentation. I got to get some paperwork. I got to get this legal stuff out of the way. I got to hire a lawyer. I got to get all this paperwork in place before I start doing business. None of this has anything to do with the actual conducting of your business, but you are doing this as part of doing business. Understand this. As an entrepreneur, until you have a paying customer, until you have somebody giving you money, you do not need to go get an EIN, employer identification number. You don't need to go get an LLC. You don't need to go get a trademark. I'm not saying these are bad things. I have these things, but you don't need to have them at the beginning when you're starting your business until you have money coming in. Until money is coming in, you do not need these things. You do not need, if you are an author, I know we have a lot of authors in here. I was talking to an author a few months ago, and I believe it was a gentleman. He was telling me this. He was saying, Dre, I just finished my book, but I got to send a copy of it up to Washington, D.C. so I can get the copyright paperwork done. And I said, well, why do you need to do that? Why don't you just put the book out? I don't think anybody's going to steal your book. And he said, no, Dre, I got to do the paperwork. I got to do it this way before I send the book in. And this is what he insisted on doing. This is his business. It's his choice. But this is a waste of time. The time that he's spending sending that paperwork in, what he could be doing is actually, selling copies of his book and having people who need it actually read the book. But he wasn't doing any of that because he was trying to get protection in this paperwork stuff that I see a lot of entrepreneurs wasting time on. Now, why is this a waste of time, and why do entrepreneurs waste time on this stuff? Because it feels productive. And there's a difference, ladies and gentlemen, between being productive and being effective. Productive is about producing anything. You can produce anything. I went to the gym this morning. I produced a lot of perspiration. I produced a lot of sweat. I produced maybe some videos that I might put out somewhere. And I think my son has reached his limit. He's about to exit stage left. But anyway, so you can produce a whole lot of anything. But effectiveness is about, babe, he got to go. Effectiveness is about producing an outcome that is getting you towards your goal. So the only way you can be effective is if you have a clear goal as to what you want to do, and then you want to be productive at doing things that get you towards the effectiveness. So getting paperwork done, making sure that you're official, so the IRS doesn't come after you, or none of these things are going to happen. I know theoretically, hypothetically, you could say, hey, if I don't have this paperwork, then somebody might sue me. Nobody's going to sue you because understand that somebody can only sue you to get money out of you. All right, they can't get money out of you if your business is not making any. So if you don't have any customers, I doubt anybody's going to try to sue you. IRS is not going to come after you because the money they have to pay their agents to come get you is more than what they could actually get from you, or whatever you think that they're going to think that you owe them. All right, none of these things are going to happen, but a lot of entrepreneurs waste time spinning their wheels on these things. All right, this is not necessary. Let's move on to point number 2. I told you I want to get through this quick. Number 2, getting official. So this is connected to what I just talked about. We're talking where entrepreneurs waste time. This is chasing down your EINs, your LLCs, but also with your websites, your logos, your brand colors, securing your social media handles, other nonsense that you are wasting time on yet are not effective. Why are these not effective? Because your number one duty as an entrepreneur, ladies and gentlemen, is to generate revenue. That is your number one duty. Generate revenue. If there is not money coming in, none of these other things matter. I'm not saying it's wrong to have a website. I have websites, or I guess you call them landing pages, sales funnels, URLs, whatever. I have them. There's nothing wrong with having brand colors, nothing wrong with having a logo, nothing wrong with securing your social media handles, but none of these matter if you don't have money coming in. The first thing you need to focus on is getting a customer. When you start a business, the number one thing you need is not a website, it is not a logo, it is not a trademark, it is not any kind of paperwork. Number one thing you need is a person giving you money in exchange for your product or service. Until you have that, you are not in business. That is the first thing you need in business, is someone giving you money. This is always your number one duty at all times. Business is about the exchange of revenue. So if you have none of these things, and there are business owners out there who have no website, no logo, no brand colors, no social media handles, no EIN, no LLC, but guess what they do have? They have customers. All right, so you're a local, and hopefully none of you live too close to them, but your local drug dealer who sells marijuana or any kind of illicit street drug has none of those things that I just mentioned, but guess what they do have? They have paying customers. They are doing more business than the person who has a website, a logo, a trademark, and an LLC, but no customers. All right, that's just Fact. This is how business works. So a kid with a lemonade stand who's selling $1 cups of lemonade is doing more business than the entrepreneur who has a website and all their social media handles across every platform, but no customers. Number one thing you need is customers, always. Number 3, where entrepreneurs waste time is doing chores/maintenance work. Doing chores and maintenance work. What does this mean? This is the routine administrative work that must be done in a business. Again, I'm not saying that this stuff shouldn't get done, but if you're the only person working in your business, pretty much you have to do this stuff at some point. And I'll explain what these things are in a moment. But what happens is many entrepreneurs spend way too much time on this stuff as a way to subconsciously or even consciously hide from the real work that you need to be doing. So let's get into a few chores, and I want some of you to be honest. I want you to I'm going to list some chores and when I say chores, it means like when you were a kid and your parents had you do chores. Any of you who had chores when you were a kid, put the number 0 in the chat. If you had chores, like every Saturday you had to break up the leaves if you lived somewhere where there were leaves outside, or you had to shovel the snow, or you had to whatever chores your parents had you do. If you had chores as a kid, there was like a list. I remember as a kid, there was a point when I have one sister, she's a year older than me. My mom would put a list of all the chores we had to do on the refrigerator with a magnet. And it was like every Saturday you got to do these 8 things. And every Sunday you got to do these 6 things. If you had chores, if I'm not the only one, okay, so I'm seeing a bunch of zeros in the chat. Okay, so all y'all had chores. So chores is like busy work. All right, for the most part, the things that our parents had us do as chores, were they really, really essential things to keep the house running? Probably not, because if they really needed to get done, guess who would have did it? The adults, or the people who are a little bit more capable than we were. So they had us do chores just to give us some busy work, maybe teach us a little bit of discipline, and just to keep an eye on us, just give us something to do, keep us occupied, because they know what they say about idle hands. So they want to give us something to do. And here's what we do as grown-ups, as entrepreneurs. We give ourselves chores. And what are these chores? They are busy work that we give ourselves to do that makes us feel productive, but is not effective. So let's talk about some of these chores. And I want you to put the number 1 in the chat. If I list a chore that any of you as entrepreneurs find yourself spending way too much time doing, updating your website. All right, how many of you in the last 30 days has spent an hour or more updating your website? Put the number 1 in the chat. Do not lie. It better be some ones in that chat. Do not lie. Put the number 1 in the chat if you have spent some time updating your website and you are an entrepreneur. You own a business and you are updating your website. All right, that is chores. That's maintenance work. Making a new logo. How many of you have made a new logo? You made the logo yourself. I'm not talking about you went to Fiverr. You didn't go to any one of those other sites, the 1,000 sites out there where you can hire somebody to do this stuff. I'm not saying you hired someone. You did it. Like you went on Canva or Photoshop or wherever you go to get a logo and you actually made a logo. Put the number 1 in the chat if you have actually made a logo in the last 30 days in your business and you are the owner of the business. Now, if you're a graphic designer, then that's an exception. But if you're not a graphic designer, you made a logo, put the 1 in the chat. Don't lie. Combing through useless emails. Getting lost in the sea of email. That is maintenance work. And most of the emails you receive are other people's agendas. It's not your agenda. Email, text messages are everybody else's agenda. Social media as well. Finding the right filter for a picture to post on Instagram. How many of you in the last 30 days have spent 30 minutes or more working on one photograph to post on Instagram? You have spent 30 minutes or more working on one photo. Just the filter, the angle, the edits, just to get the photo up there. Put the number 1 in the chat. If you have spent time, 30 minutes or more, working on one photo just to put on your Instagram feed that 24 hours later, everybody forgot about it, but you spent 30 minutes putting time into working on that photo, and you are the owner of your business. What else? Let's see some other maintenance work. Deciding on the right font to use as the headline on your website. How many of you have spent time, 30 minutes or more, deciding between fonts, deciding between typefaces on your website or a headline for a page? The only exception I could give to this, actually, no, I'm not giving any exceptions. I don't care if you're writing a book that's going to be the best-selling book in the world. If you have spent 30 minutes or more going through fonts, looking at all the fonts, you got lost in the sea of fonts, Fonts. If you know if you've done it, then you know what I'm talking about. Fonts. Put the number 1 in the chat if you are guilty of that. This is all maintenance work. All right. Why is this maintenance work? Because none of this stuff makes you money. Understand what you are doing as a business owner, folks. Your job is to bring in money. And if you are the owner of your business, the majority of your time should be spent on things that generate money, money generating activities, things that directly lead to money. Everything else that you're doing is maintenance work. They are chores. It is busy work. I'm not saying don't do it. I'm not saying that it doesn't need to happen. However, your priorities need to be on the business. And these other things, I want you to understand that there's never been a time in history, I don't think, that somebody said, you know what, I'm going to buy, and I'm just going to use some names of people I see on the stage here. You know what, I'm going to sign up for Yan's $10,000 coaching program because her website looks so good. Now, the website may contribute to her presentation, but is that really what's making you the money? No. Is the sales conversation going to make you the money? All right, I'm going to get into Monica's program for the next 3 years and get on auto pay every month for the next 3 years just because she chose the right font. And I know I just love Times New Roman. So because she took the time for that, I'm going to get into her program. Said nobody ever. All right, this does not happen, folks. The time that you spend, I'm going to get into Matt GPT's program about social media because his logo is so amazing. That logo. I was thinking about these other 10 guys, but that logo, no, I gotta get into Matt's program. Said nobody ever. All right, this is why it's maintenance work. It feels good to do, and when you're done, you feel productive.
Cool. All right, I just want to say.
I get it. So it feels good to do. And when you're done, you can say, hey, I did these things. You can put it on your list. You can actually add it to the list just so you can scratch it off. So you can get that dopamine hit. But did it make you any money? If the answer is no, or you got to think about it, then you're doing maintenance work. Maintenance work is where entrepreneurs do a whole lot of time wasting. So all you entrepreneurs who are listening to this right now, I want you to look at your to-do list for today, and you need to check. You need to segment. What are the maintenance tasks? What are the money-generating tasks? Usually money-generating tasks are things that involve you having some form of direct communication with people who will, have, or could give you money. WordPress is not giving you money. Canva is not giving you money. Hey, ChatGPT ain't giving you money. Customers give you money. People give you money. You need to be looking at your list and asking yourself, what activities are those and what activities are these? And let's remember the 80-20 principle, Pareto's principle. 80% of our results come from 20% of our actions. Usually, if you look through your list, any of you want to be honest, if you look through your list, you'll find that maybe about 20% of your activities are money generating, 80% of them are maintenance, doing chores. All right, you're not 12 years old anymore. You don't have to do chores every Saturday morning. Now, what you need to do is focus on the main things that are moving your business forward. Now, let's move on to the second part of here. I'm going to give you a 3-parter here today. We're talking about business where time gets wasted for entrepreneurs. Now we're going to talk about what businesses to not be in. Now, I'm not going to list a specific industry, like say, hey, don't be a construction worker or don't be in real estate. That's not what I mean here. I'm going to explain this metaphorically in that it's about what things you do not want to focus your business on. Again, these are things that are not necessarily bad to do. They're not bad to have. Actually, some of these things you need to have, but they shouldn't be the main focus or the main driver of your success in business. I'll tell you what, and I'll explain why. Number 1, technical skill. Yes, technical skill is not the business that you want to be in, even though I would bet most of the people in this room are probably pretty good at what you do. You're a coach, you're a speaker, you're an author, you're a dancer, you're a fill in the blank, or whatever it is that you have going on. You're probably pretty good at the technical ability to do the thing. If you're in real estate, for example, you are not in the house or condominium business. If you're a coach or consultant, you are not in the advice giving or helping people with their problems business. If you are in medical equipment, you're not in the business of machines or x-rays or people placed in jobs. Even though these are the things that you do, that's not the business that you're in. Because in each of these industries and any other, the business you're actually in is in the business of selling your ability to do the thing. And let me explain to you what I mean by this. Remember that business is the exchange of resources. That's what business is. Business is if somebody gives you something, you give them something. Usually one of those directions, money is being exchanged. You can do all these things for free. Like, I can help you find a place to live for free. I don't have to charge you for it. I can give you advice for free. I can write a book and give it to you for free. I can give you some medical equipment for free. I'll probably go broke doing so, but I can do all these things for free. The business only happens when there's an exchange, when the sale happens. So the business that you're in is the business of selling your ability to do X. So if you're an author, you're not in the book business. You're in the selling books business. You go on Amazon. I don't know how many books are on Amazon right now. Probably a few million. Most of them don't sell. The authors who are in business are in the business of selling books. They're not in the business of writing books. Everybody understand the difference here? Any of you ever wrote a book with a traditional publisher? Unless you happen to be maybe Michelle Obama or something like that. All the rest of us, you write a book with a traditional publisher. Many authors incorrectly believe if you sign with a publisher, they're going to do all the work to sell your book. And that's actually the exact opposite of what happens. They do none of the work to sell your book. When you send a proposal to a publisher, they ask you explicitly, how big is your audience? How are you going to sell this book? Oh, you thought we were going to sell the book? No. Remember, a publisher is called a publisher for a reason. Publishing has nothing to do with selling. Their job is to publish the book. Publishers means the book's out and is on the shelf. Selling, oh, that's your job. Entrepreneur, that's your job. Anything that you do business-wise, technical skill, you are in the business of selling your ability to do the thing. When I was playing, my background is in professional sports. When I was playing basketball, somebody, whether it was me, my agent, or someone involved with me, had to sell me as the entity to be on that team. Yes, I was not in the basketball playing business. I played basketball, but I wasn't in the basketball playing business. I played basketball for free at Equinox. I played basketball for free at the park around the corner. For me to get paid to play basketball, I had to sell my ability to do it. So whatever it is that you're doing, you're in the business of selling the thing. I don't care what your thing is. Your business is, how do I sell this thing? Going back to that 80-20 principle, you need to be spending 80% of your time on things that are producing the majority of the results. You basically want to take that 80-20 principle and flip it around. What are the 20% that's producing most of the results, and put 80% of your time into those things, so you start flipping this around. So in any industry, you're in the business of selling. You can help people do all those things and not charge money for it. In that case, you wouldn't be in business. It'd be a hobby because you're not making money. So the technical skill is not the main thing. Number two, you're not in the business of serving your ego. This is an important one, especially those of you who have teams or you have partners in your business. There's more than just you working in your business, but also for you all you're the main person and you basically call all the shots. This applies to you as well. And here's why. Because serving your ego is what happens when you are focused more on proving yourself right rather than being accurate. And there's a difference between being right and being accurate. Being right is about your ego and proving your opinion to be superior to somebody else's. Whenever you see two people arguing, you're looking at two people trying to be right. Accuracy, on the other hand, is about serving the outcome and doing what objectively and in black and white gets you to the outcome as effectively and as quickly as possible. So any of you who's read the book Good to Great by Jim Collins, he talks about this, that in great companies, and he had a definition, he had a framework for what made a company great. In the great companies, they get all these good people, high-level people in the organization. They all get in the room and they just start hammering out what are they going to do, why are they going to do it, and they go back and forth. They duke it out, not physically, but verbally. They duke it out. Hey, here's why this is a good idea. No, this is a better idea. And they go back and forth and they all argue with each other in the spirit of helping the business. And at the end of the conversation, they all agree on one point, not because one person is a better debater than the other person. Is because they all decided, based on the strength of their arguments, this is the most accurate way for us to get to the objective outcome that we all decided that we want to reach. Because we all want to get to this outcome, we're all putting our egos to the side, and we're going to do what best serves the company. And for all of us as entrepreneurs, we got to be careful that we're not making decisions that serve our ego and make us feel good, but are not serving the outcome and helping us get to where we want to go. And you need to be asking yourself consistently, am I trying to be right here or am I trying to be accurate? Because they are not the same. So when you start serving your ego and serving your opinion, or in any group, in any organization, in the sports world, this happens all the time. In the business world, this happens. This happens in relationships. People get to serving their ego instead of serving the outcome. Let me ask the question, actually, open in the chat. Put the number 2 in the chat. If any time so far in 2023, you found yourself in a situation where you, and maybe sometimes it's more than one person doing this, was serving their ego, and you could be honest if it was you as well. I'd be guilty of it as well. where you were serving your ego rather than serving the outcome, whether in business or in a personal relationship, and it led to, basically didn't lead to anything. It led to a strife and back and forth and argument, but it did not actually move anything forward. If any of you's been in that situation anytime this year, things didn't move forward, but there was a whole lot of proving yourself. Everybody's trying to prove themselves right, but nothing's actually getting accomplished. Nothing's actually moving forward. Any of you experienced that? Put the number 2 in the chat if you've ever been guilty of that. Okay, we all have at some point. So this is the reason why the coaching and consulting industry exists. It's not because people are dumb and they need help with accessing information. We can all do that very easily by ourselves. It's because when you have extra sets of eyes and ears around you, especially people who are insightful and have experience and the ability to communicate, then you can at least double check yourself. You can even triple check yourself, triangulate, and be sure that you're not making ego-driven decisions, but rather accuracy-driven decisions. And remember that communication is not just your ability to disseminate information, it's also your ability to receive it. Listening is part of communication. Moving on, point number 3. We are talking businesses to not be in. Number 3, you're not in the business of quote-unquote better than. The better than business is when you attempt to do business by being better than the alternative options that your prospects have. In other words, you're trying to prove that you are better than this other person. All right, so I'm trying to get a speaking gig. They're looking at 3 other people for the speaking gig, and I get the decision maker on the phone. I try to convince him or her why I am a better speaker, better speech giver than the other person. Someone's thinking of hiring me as a coach and they're thinking of hiring these 3 other people. I say, well, look, I'm a better coach than Angeline. I'm better than TM. I'm better than Araya. I'm better than Felicia. Don't hire them, hire me. And I try to convince you why I'm better than them at the thing. This is not the business to be in. There are several reasons why you don't want to be in this business. This is a dead-end business. Let me tell you why. One reason is very hard to prove that you are better than somebody else. It's very difficult. It's a very subjective. Better is subjective and is all based on another person's opinion and perspective. Somebody put the number 3 in the chat. If you have ever in your life convinced someone to change their opinion through your eloquence. Anybody ever done that? Just through your verbal eloquence, you have convinced the person to be of one opinion, and then by the time you got done talking, they completely changed their opinion based on your verbal dexterity. Anybody ever accomplished that? I've never met the person who's capable of doing that. So you shouldn't try to do this. All right, that's what you're trying to do when you're in the better than business. Secondly, it doesn't really matter if you're better than the next person. It actually does not matter. In business, it doesn't matter if you're better than the other coach, the other author, the other speaker, etc. Why does it not matter? Because that's not the right reason why people give you money anyway. People are not hiring you because you're better than the other person. They are not hiring you because, hey, you're obviously the best choice, so that's why we're going to give you this money. Said no decision maker ever. Now, they might convince themselves that you're the best choice, but that's not the reason why they actually gave you the money. That's not the reason why they hire you. People hire you because they believe that whatever it is that you're offering can help them achieve an outcome. Not necessarily because they've compared you to every single other option out there. And listen, if they didn't work with the other options, how do they know how good they are anyway? The only thing they're really comparing is your sales pitch. People choose you because you have shown that you can help them get to the outcome that they want, and they are willing to invest their money in order to get there. Your job is to get in front of the right people at the right time who have the right need, the right mind, and the resources to move forward with you. That's it. That's your job as a salesperson, as an entrepreneur. Let me say it again. Get in front of the right people at the right time who have the need, the mindset, and the resources to move forward with you. That's it. That's all you need in order to consummate a transaction. Your job is to present them the right offer that they can say yes to. And who you are better than or who is better than you is completely irrelevant. It really is irrelevant. And in the business world, especially, where things are extremely subjective, as opposed to the sports world, where at least we have a scoreboard that objectively tells us what happened. Now, we can say, the Miami Heat beat the Denver Nuggets in the game last night. We can objectively look at that. But how can I objectively compare author A to author B or speaker C to speaker D? There's no way to objectively compare. It's all based on people's opinions. So knowing this, your job is just to get in front of the right people who have the right opinion that aligns with where you're at, and then make them an offer. That's the game that you're in. So now let's move on to the third subsegment of this, which is the main things that you're going to need in business. And how many we got here? Just 4 things, and then we'll open this up for discussion. I think I'm doing good on time. It's like my best ever. And if I end this before 8 o'clock, I end my part before 9 o'clock. Excuse me. I'm expecting you all to jump in here and converse with me, but I'm not done. Let me get through these points. So the main things that your business needs. Now, as you build your business, even those of you who are already in business, there are many things that could distract you, throw you off track, have you chasing down leads that don't need to be chased. So today is about simplifying things and keeping you focused on the main things that matter most for having and running a business. These 4 points that I'm about to share apply to every business. Doesn't matter what industry you're in. It could be online, it can be offline. You can have a storefront. You can you don't even have to have a web presence at all. All of these apply to any business. Number 1, you need a list. L-I-S-T, a list. What is a list? Because all the money's in the list. A list is the direct contact information given to you by permission of people who are open to hearing from you regarding your business. That's all a list is. It's a compilation, for lack of a better term, of people who have given you permission to contact them about whatever your business has going on. That's it. That's all a list is. So when you hear people say a list, that's what they're talking about. So you hear people say build your list. All it means is you need to find a way, and I'll give you some opportunities here, and there are plenty of speakers here in BWC who talk about this stuff all the time. A way to get people who may be interested in you and your stuff to give you their contact information along with permission to reach out to them. So what contact information makes a list item? It is a phone number, a physical address, an email address as of today's technology. Phone number, physical address, email address. You don't need all 3. If you have 1 of 3, you have a list. And yes, physical addresses still matter. All right, everybody here has a mailbox where you live, P.O. box. All right, you still get physical mail. Any of you ever get those circulars in the mail like that? Or some of you may call it junk mail. And it's like coupons or some company telling you about what they have for sale, or the local grocery store, they're telling you about what sales they have for this month. You are on their list, and you might not even join. You don't even know how you got on the list. Well, they got a connection to somebody who has a connection to somebody who has your address, and that's how you ended up on the list. So they only have your name on it, right? It says our neighbor at, and then it has your address. All right, you are on their list, and that's part of the way that they market. So phone numbers. Any of you get like robo text messages these days? Now you got spam texting. We got spam email. We had that for years. Now we got spam texting. These are all part of lists. A list is just direct contact information. So if you have at least one of those 3 things, again, phone number, physical address, email address, you have a list and you can contact people that way as long as they want to hear from you. If you're reaching out to people who didn't sign up to hear from you, then it's illegal technically. But, and one more thing, when it comes to a person's name, you don't necessarily have to have somebody's name for them to be on your list. All right, there are people on my list who I don't have their name, but I have their email address and they read my emails, or I have their text number or their phone number for text. Or as I said, the local Walmart might send you a mailing and you don't know how you got on their list. You don't even shop at Walmart. They don't even put your name on the mail, but somehow it ended up at your doorstep, right? So they have to give you permission. This is called permission marketing. Seth Godin has a good book about permission marketing he wrote years ago. Very good book. If people haven't given you the information, they're not on your list. And all the money in the business is in the list. Why? Because when you have a list, that means you can always contact the people who have already shown interest in you, and you can sell just to your list. Even if no new customers came in, you just sold to your list, you have opportunity to do business. So think of a company like Walmart, a company like Amazon, a company like Nordstrom. I get emails from them every single day. Even if they didn't get any new customers, they just made all their sales to repeat customers, people who are already on their list, they could still do a robust amount of business. So understand that when it comes to doing business, folks, you don't always need to be bringing in the new customer. And any of you, especially those of you who do marketing to acquire customers, paid marketing to acquire customers, know that the most expensive customer to acquire is the new customer. The newest one is the hardest one to acquire, and the easiest customer to sell to is the one who's already bought from you, because they already know you, they already like you, they already trust you. Hopefully you gave them a great experience with their previous transaction, previous purchase, and you don't have to spend any money to get their attention because you already have them on your list. Whereas a new customer who you don't know, you may have to pay money to run an ad to get their attention. They don't know you. They may not like you. They definitely don't trust you. And now you have to do all that work to build the relationship up all over again. So working in-house, so to speak, as we say, with people who already know you is a much easier way to do business. This is why you want to build a list. This is why a company like, I just put out an article about this 2 weeks ago. It was Skype. Y'all know Skype, the online conversation app. They were bought by Microsoft for $8 billion, billion with a B. And at the time, Skype was actually had lost money the previous year. They posted a loss the previous year, and they were in debt. They were financially in debt, and Microsoft still paid $8 billion for them. Now, why? Is it because Skype has this amazing technology that no one else could do? Absolutely not. The reason Microsoft was willing to pay is because they wanted Skype's list. They wanted the customers. When Facebook bought Instagram, and some of you remember this, it wasn't that long ago, there didn't used to be Instagram stories. Remember Instagram before we had Instagram stories? And Facebook decided, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go buy Snapchat, because Snapchat had the Snapchat story. It was a very popular thing when it first came out, and they were the only one who was doing it. Facebook said, all right, we bought Instagram. Now we're going to go buy Snapchat, and we're going to combine them together. Snapchat refused. Facebook offered Snapchat $3 billion. Again, billion with a B. They offered Snapchat $3 billion for Snapchat. Snapchat said no. And Facebook went a month later, cloned the Snapchat story function, and now we have Instagram stories. So it wasn't that Facebook needed the technology of how to make a story function. All they had to do was look at Snapchat. They just go clone this and put this in our app. And that's exactly what they did. But what Facebook did not get from Snapchat, and they still don't have, is that list. That's what Facebook actually wanted, because Snapchat has a very young audience. It trends very young. That's what Facebook wanted to pay $3 billion for. It wasn't the technology. It was the list. So all of you in business, if you're not reading between the lines here, what makes your business valuable is not you personally, because something can happen to you. You can go away. Eventually, you will go away. What makes your business last is the list and the relationship that your company has with that list. As long as you have a list, you have an opportunity to do business. So you always want to be looking at, how can I add people to my list? And you don't want to just add anybody to your list. You want to add people who actually may be interested, eligible, capable of getting into your world and deeper into your world, whatever it is that you're offering. Every business runs on a list. Number two, we're talking the core things that your business needs. Number two, your business needs a core offering. What is a core offering? Now, you may have 1,000 different products. In business, they call them SKUs. It stands for stock keeping units, especially with physical goods. But the core offering is, what's the core thing that somebody needs that they come into your world? That's a question that you should ask yourself. Somebody comes into your world. They may come in on your book. They may come in because you had a free 5-day challenge. They may come in because you were on somebody else's podcast, and then they just wandered over to your website. Maybe they just stumbled across you on Facebook and they ended up on your list. What's the core thing that they need? They look at everything that you have. What's the main thing that they need to get that would allow you to give them the maximum value? What is that thing? That's your core offering. And you always want to be pushing people, no matter where they come in or how they come in. You always want to be pushing people towards that core offering. So let me give you a few examples. What's Amazon's core offering? Anybody know? Amazon's core offering is Prime. Amazon Prime. Now, they have 1 million products. Main thing they want to get you on is Amazon Prime. Why? Because if you get on Amazon Prime, next time you need toothpaste, what's the first place you're going to think of buying it? Amazon. If one of your Apple cords for charging your phone dies and you need a new one, or you leave it on the plane and you need a new one, where's the first place you're going to look? Probably Amazon. If you want to order Whole Foods delivery, which I do often, where are you going to look? Amazon. Why? Because you're already paying for Prime. I'm already paying, and I remember when Amazon Prime was less than $100. It used to be like $79. Now it's about $140-ish per year. The price keeps going up. Amazon wants you on Prime for 2 reasons. Number one, it's a recurring payment. That's number one. Number two, because once they get you on that, they know you're going to buy everything from Amazon, at least anything that Amazon offers, and they are literally called the everything store. So that's why they want to get you on Prime. What's Apple's core offering? Phone. They make 56% of their revenue from the phone. Apple. Now, Apple, the phone is not necessarily a recurring product, depending on which way you get the phone. Like the phone I have right now, I bought this phone outright, so I'm not on any kind of recurring payment to Apple. However, Apple does have the iPhone for Life program. I think they still call it that, where you basically lease the phone. You lease the phone the same way you lease a car. And then when a new phone comes out, after a certain number of months, you can get the new phone, just trade in the old one, get the new one. And basically, they got you on a recurring payment to be on iPhone for the rest. It's literally called iPhone for Life. They literally have you on a lifetime payment program for their phone. That is Apple's core product, is that phone. They know that that's where most of their revenue comes from. Once they get you on the phone, then it's easy to sell you the AirPods. They got you on the phone, it's easy to sell you the computer. They got you on the phone, it's easy to sell you the tablet. All right, or what else? And those are their main products. All right, physical products. Once they get you on the phone, it's pretty much easy to get you into everything else because they know, and we all know, we're on that phone all day. It's literally within arm's reach. Most of you have your phone within arm's reach for 24 hours a day. So as long as they can get you on that phone, they get you on everything else pretty easily. My main core offering is called Work on Your Game University. Work on Your Game University is where I offer my main coaching programs. That's where I put all of my courses into one place at Work on Your Game University. And that's the core thing. If somebody came into my world, I don't care if you read 25 of my 33 books, the core offering is I want to get you into Work on Your Game University where you can be coached by me directly, you can work with me directly, and I can help you personally move yourself to where you want to go, whatever it is that you're doing in business. Ideally, and this doesn't always have to be the case, but ideally you want a recurring purchase offer, which simply means somebody pays every month. So think about your electric bill, your gym membership, your car insurance is an every month payment. And many people build very big businesses because there's a recurring payment model. A lot of network marketing companies, for example, people can build big downlines of business because you got customers paying every single month for that thing. So think insurance, rental real estate, pharmaceuticals, anything that has to be bought over and over again. That's a great way to build a big book of business. Again, it doesn't have to be this. I'm just giving you an example. But you need to know what your core offering is the point here. So what's the main thing people need to get the most value out of you? In your core offering, you need to figure out what is the one main thing. You need to know what that is. Shouldn't be 10 things, should be one thing. Number 3, talking the main things your business needs here. We got 2 more points and then we're going to wrap this up. Number 3, you need a marketing system. What is a marketing system? Well, first of all, it's marketing. I think all of you are familiar with the concept of a system, but I'll explain it. How do you consistently get new people to know about you? That's the answer to the question. Marketing system is how you get new people to consistently know that you exist. Let me say this again, because this is the core thing that in business right here. You need to consistently let new people know that you exist and that you have something that could possibly help them. All marketing is the relationship you have with your audience and your ability to communicate with them what you have, what you're doing, and why they should give a damn. What you have, what you're doing, why they should give a damn. And mind you, you need to market to the people who already know you as well. Once they know you, you still have to market to them because how many options do you have? All right, because any of you who's ever bought anything from TM, you might still buy from Daughter Maria. You buy from Yan, you might still buy from Angeline. You buy from Megan, you might still buy from Matt. You buy from Araya, you still might buy from me. So your customers are polygamous. All right, everybody knows what that word means? All right, they're not in a monogamous relationship with you. All right, they will spend money with other people. And they already have. All right, you might not know about it, but they already have spent money with other people outside of you. And if they already spent money with other people, they'll still spend money with you. So you must continually market to the people in your audience because they have wandering eyes. All right, customers have wandering eyes. They're always looking around. All right, where else can I spend some money? All right, and the good thing is a buyer is a buyer. Once somebody opens up their wallet and spends, they will open up their wallet and spend again, which is a good thing for you, which means you need to keep marketing to them so the next time they open their wallet, they may be opening it to use it on your stuff. But if you don't market to them, then they can't do it because they forgot that you existed. So you must continue to market to people so that they remember that you are there. Anybody here on my email list, how often do you get an email from me? Put it in the chat. Any of you who's on my email list, how often do you get emails from me? Anybody who is in my daily motivation text message list, how often do you get a text message from me? How often do you get texts from me? How often do you get emails from me? I'm continually marketing. I send out anywhere between 750,000 to 1 million emails every single month and pay the bill for it. All right, text messages. There's a bill for that. All right, I'm paying a bill for these things because I'm sending this stuff out consistently and I'm continually marketing. Those of you who are watching me on Instagram right now or Facebook, how often do you see me post on social media? Every single day. I'm not telling you all that you have to do it as frequently as I do. The point is you need a process, as I said, marketing system, a system for continually staying in front of your audience or your potential audience. And they may not need to be reached every single day. You may be once a week. It depends on who you're trying to reach, but you need to know what your process is for your business. So when you have a system for marketing and a list and a core offering, you have a business, assuming that you can acquire a customer. Again, when you have a system for marketing to people, you have a list and a core offering, you have a business, assuming, again, that you can consummate a sale, assuming you can make a sale. I see you over there, Brandon, on Instagram. Appreciate you. You even have a business that you don't have to, but you could pass off or sell to someone else if you have these things. There's a system for marketing this stuff. there's a list of people who already know us, and there's a core offering. Well, that doesn't require you, does it? None of these things require you individually. So you could theoretically pass this off or sell your business to someone else if you have these things structured and documented. Deeper conversation that we're not getting into here today. If you plan on passing off or selling your business to someone else, you have to have these things in place. Otherwise, how can somebody else run your business? They would have to put all these things in place. Well, then why would they pay for it? They may take it from you, but why would pay for it? Because you're not giving them any assets. So you want to have these pieces in place already, and this makes it easier for you to do business yourself as well, regardless of whether you're going to pass your business to your kids or you want to sell it to somebody or anything like that. So with all that said, number 4, and then this is a quick point, we're talking main things your business needs. Your business, you should be consistently looking at these 3 things in your business. Number 1, continually building your list. 2, your core offering and making sure it's giving people the value they should be getting. And 3, how do you continue staying in front of people and letting them know about your core offering and any other offerings that may kind of rope them into looking at the core offering. So all that said, let me quickly recap the points that I've shared here today. I think I had 9-10 points quickly, and then we're going to open the floor up. We got 10 minutes. So what your business needs and doesn't need. Number 1, where entrepreneurs waste time. Number 1, protection. This is the paperworks and calling lawyers and going on LegalZoom.com. This is all waste of time that you do not need in your business, especially if you don't have a customer yet. You don't have anything to protect. What is anybody going to take from you? You don't have any customers. Number 2, getting official. EINs, LLCs, websites, logos, brand colors. These things are good to have, but do you need these before you have a customer? No, you do not. Number 3, chores and maintenance work. Are you not 12 years old anymore? You don't have to do chores in your business. You should be spending the majority of your time doing things that actually bring in money. So look at your to-do list and make sure you're not spending too much time doing maintenance that makes you feel good, but is not actually moving your business forward. Businesses that you do not need to be in, metaphorically. Number 1, technical skill. How good you are technically at the thing, I'm sure it makes you proud that you work on your game, you're good at what you do. I mean, after all, I am the work on your game guy. So you should be technically good. However, this is not the business that you're in. You're in the business of selling how good you are, not in actually being good. Number 2, serving your ego. Be careful that you are not trying to be right, i.e. serving your ego, as opposed to being accurate, i.e. serving the outcome. Accuracy is about the outcome. Ego is about being right. Number 3, better than. Whether you're better than the next person or not doesn't really matter. It's all based on opinion. And again, I've never seen a human who was able to sway another person's opinion through argument. And so you should stay out of that business. Don't even worry about it. What matters is you're in front of the right person at the right time with the right offer, and they're of the right mind and they have the resources to invest. That's all that matters. That's how business happens. There are 8 billion people on the planet. None of us looks at every single possible option before we decide to buy. None of us. We look at the best option in front of us that makes the most sense, and we pull the trigger. That's how it works. Main things your business needs. Number 1, you need a list. All the money is in the list. Every big business you know of has a list. Any company that emails you over and over again, guess what? You are on their list. All right, that's why they keep reaching out to you, because they want to keep marketing to you. A list is just people who have given you permission to reach out to them and tell them about what you're doing. That's it. You don't have to sell to them every time either. So any of you gets emails from me or text messages from me, you notice 95% of the stuff I send to you, I'm not asking you to do anything. I'm just telling you stuff. I'm just sharing with you. I'm just staying in your face. All right, that's what you do with a list. Number 2, core offering. You can have 1,000 different products. What's the core thing? What's the main thing you want to get people on that basically moves the needle for everything else? Again, if you read Jim Collins' book, Good to Great, he talks about this really well. He called it the hedgehog concept. And it's similar. It's a cousin of what I'm talking about here. The core offering. What's the main thing you want to get people in that basically drives everything else and keeps them in your world? Number 3, marketing system. How do you continually stay in front of people who need to know about you, for whom you have something that could help them? And in your business, you should be consistently looking at these 3 things. How do I keep building my list? What's my core offering? And is it giving people the value they need? And how do I keep making sure that people who could possibly give me money know that I exist? And again, this includes the people who have already given you money. Do not neglect those people. Those are actually your best people. You should be marketing them even harder than you market to the strangers. All right. And your parents told you as a kid, don't talk to strangers. Untrue. You should talk to strangers all the time. But people who already know you should talk to them even more. So with all that said, all right, we got 6 minutes left. I got close. Mic's open. Who wants to talk? Business. What you need, what you don't need. Mic is open.
Dre, I have a question. It's Megan.
Hey, Megan. Good morning.
Hi. Good morning, sir. Well, first off, I get your email and I get your daily text, and they're fabulous.
Thank you.
You're welcome. With that said, I have I have over 5,000 people in my database. I've been in business a long time. Any human that has worked with me, I will say to them that one of the first things is database, 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 meaning it's capturing anyone that walked in our brick and mortar, on and on.
Right.
Any workshops we did and so forth. So a question to you, because the first part of this morning was about, the waste of time that people do of doing all that stuff, okay?
Mm-hmm.
But part of it is the capture piece. So today, with people that don't have not only a brick and mortar, but also the acumen or the background to build to capture the list, what's the best way to capture a list?
Oh, that's a great question. Well, I don't think there is a best way, Megan, the first answer, but there are many different ways. And I'm sure if you asked everybody on the stage, you get a different answer. My favorite way is, first of all, figuring out who's your ideal client, who's the ideal person that you want.
Right.
And then, and then you want to build a list based on gathering that type of person. Because, for example, Megan, I have 33 books. I have some books that I even give away for free. People just cover the shipping. So, in other words, they would pull $9 out of their wallet and give it to me in order to get the book. But do I want to build a list of $9 customers? No, I don't. I'd rather build a list of people who may be more interested in coming into a high ticket program. So the list is not just about getting as many people as possible on the list, it's about getting the right people on the list. So it depends on what kind of bait you throw out and what kind of fish you're going to bite on that hook. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. I really asked the question more for the room than myself. I mean, it's back to what you shared with Ramon earlier, meaning you have sold fewer sales.
Fewer transactions, right?
Transactions, but your growth is larger, and your net, I'm sure, is therefore as well. So, so I asked that as much for others, so that they understood the importance of that clarity piece of knowing who they're working towards building that list with. Yeah,
100%. Thank you for asking that. Thank you for seeding the question. All right, anybody else? Appreciate you, Megan. Who else has anything they want to share, add, ask on the subject? We're talking what your business needs, what your business doesn't need, core offerings, marketing, selling, sharing. Now, I told y'all.
I just want to thank you. For this session. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Hey, Felicia.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Again, I just want to thank you for this session because I was the L person in the chat, but I think this is really the prelude to the L.
Yeah, it's coming next week. I'm going to do it next Monday.
Right. Because I feel like, a lot of things you broke down were, for lack of a better term, very elementary, but things we gloss over all the time. So I just wanted to thank you because, again, what you just stated, I think the point for me the most was the people make the choice that's in front of them, the immediate choice. It's not about necessarily being the best, but are you there to even be considered? Thank you.
That's right, 100%. And fundamentals is a big thing. Coming from the sports where I'm big on fundamentals, Felicia, so I'm glad you shared that. And when it comes to marketing, all of you salespeople, you got to catch your prospects at the right time. You got to catch them when they're in the space to do something, because all of us have been in spaces as consumers where you see a product and you're like, I want that, but right now is not the right time to buy it. Then 6 months later, you're ready to buy it. But if they didn't come back and get in front of you and remind you that they're there, they might have missed out on their money. And you ended up spending the money with somebody else. Not because you didn't want the product, it's just because you weren't ready then. But if they don't keep marketing to you, they missed out on that dollar. Who's that about to speak up? Somebody about to talk? All right, we got 2 minutes here. Who else wants to add, ask, share anything here? I'm looking in the comments to see what we got going on. Hey, Dr. Emerald, good morning. Good to see you. Active as usual. Anybody else got anything they want to share? We got 2 minutes. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. We are talking business, selling, what you need as an entrepreneur. I put the number to my daily motivation text in the chat as well. Anybody want to get it? You've seen the rave reviews.
Good morning.
Hey, good morning. Who's this?
Dre. This is Dami.
Hey,
Good
Dami.
morning. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
Good. And thank you so much for the segment. I'm guilty of a lot of the things that you had mentioned. And so my question would be, it's partly a statement as well, in terms of like content being king, but like, what do you think? Do you think just quantity over content, regardless of what it's saying, because of the fact that, you know, because you referenced time, we spend a lot of time, or some of us spend a lot of time sort of deciphering. But then, is it important, right? Because of like the attention, right? Maybe someone flicks through and then they're not even perceiving that you spent that time. So my question would be, content over quantity.
Okay, so I'll answer this really quickly because we're right at 9 o'clock and I'm passing Angelina next. It's you want to have a quantity of quality. I talked about this in my book, Work on Your Game. You want both. They are not diametrically opposed. You want to be high quality where you're giving people something of value, and you want to give them a quantity of it so you stay in front of them and you feed their appetites. The feed doesn't get full. That is the best way to look at it. The feed in all our social media apps never gets full. You can keep feeding as long as you're giving it something valuable, and that the audience wants, they will keep consuming. So you want to have a quantity of quality. And that's the answer that I'll give there. Thank you for the question. We are right at 9 o'clock on the dot. Angelina, I'm passing the mic to you. Good morning. How was your weekend?
Good morning, Dre. Give it up. My weekend was fabulous. I had a really great time with my boys. My babies, they came back from a youth retreat, and the feedback from the youth pastors and stuff was really cool. I mean, I'm doing something right. And I also took my youngest to the newest Spider-Man movie, which is really cool. And I launched my podcast, which was something that I was like, all right, I'm just going to do it. I'm going to start. They talked about this all day this morning.
Oh, wow. Congratulations.
Congratulations. Thank you, Dre. I need everyone to unmute and give it up for Dre Baldwin, because he's always dropping the amazing knowledge. Oh my gosh, what a powerful, powerful segment. Everybody unmute. Give it up for Dre.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Angelina.
Woo-hoo! Great job. Yep, bravo. Oh my gosh, that was so cool.
Appreciate y'all on
I
Instagram.
always get so super nervous following you,
Work
Dre,
on
but
Your
you
Game
know,
podcast today.
how do I follow Dre with that? So, hello, good morning, everyone, and champions. Welcome to the Breakfast with Champions.